It sucks when your kids don't get it. I am not op. Original post by you, new posta in our marriage. Trigger warnings. Emotional neglect. Less than. Mood spoilers. Just kinda sad all round. Less than. Backslash. It sucks when your kids don't get it. April 14th, 2022. My daughter and her family came over yesterday. We were sitting in the patio yesterday. I asked her what her plans for the next couple of weeks. She said she's planning on taking a trip with our grandson to San Francisco. My son-in-law said he's going to be chilling at home. Laughingly, I asked why isn't he coming. She told me that her son wanted to just with his mom. This is the biggest issue. The family only makes money for 2 vacations a year. They have already had a family trip this January. So, I suggested them to drop off our grandson so they can go on a couple's trip. My son-in-law interjected and said it fine because they went on their anniversary trip last August. And they can go next year. I asked him, won't you feel excluded? He said not really because he wants to do camping with just his son one day and he gets it. I told them they already do a family trip. Why they need to do individual trips? Then my daughter by saying it's only no big deal because she looks forward for time with just her son. I told them, look, do what you want, I told you to put the marriage first. You've only got 8 years left with the boy. I've never went anywhere without your mother. She responded, with all due respect, I am making my marriage a priority. However, their son is just as important to me as my husband. I love spending time with him just as much as her husband. I feel the same exact way. She the response the thicker that sent my wife crying. After they left with, I love my son way more than you probably have ever loved me, and that's fine. My wife told us drop it and told her to have a great trip. She doesn't get that loving her son means loving her husband. Whatever plans or desires they have should matter more than what their kid wants. I am not saying to neglect their son, but they give each other more love and attention. It will help their son out in the end. Update. It sucks when you kids don't get it. June 3rd, 2022. https www.reddit.com/r/marriage/comments/u2uosf/it sucks when your kids don't get it /UTM source equals share and UTM medium equals web2x and context equals 3. Well, I apologized to my daughter. I couldn't help myself but ask what she meant when she loved her son more than we ever loved her. She was very blunt and told me how it sucked to be second place in our family. She said that the love my wife and I had for each other overshadowed the love we had for her and her brother. She mentions various incidents such as when she greeted me with a picture she drew as a little kid. When I came back from work, but I told her to wait so I could greet my wife first. She hated the fact we always sat next to each other even when the kids complained about it. She said it hurts that the marriage mattered more than the individual relationship we had with each kid. What was I kick in the guts was when she outright admitted she mostly keeps a relationship for the sake of her son. She wouldn't even visit half the amount if it wasn't for her son. I don't know where to go from here. Reminder, I am not the original poster. You've only got 8 years left with the boy, really says it all. Damn. It makes total sense for him to be this shocked and blindsided that they have never had a good relationship. Because I doubt he has ever once paid a significant amount of emotional attention to his daughter in her entire life. I don't know where to go from here. On a trip with your wife. The daughter is over 18, so your time with her is over. Jesus. Focus on your spouse. You'll only have to deal with the kid for 8 more years, then you can kick him out and forget about him. No wonder his daughter kinda hates him now. Oh my God. The daughter still remembers when he ignored her and her sweet drawing for him just to greet his wife first. That's heartbreaking. She's been carrying the trauma the parents caused her with her whole life. But she managed to break the cycle and turn out a good egg. What a horrible father. Like, first off, bro, mind your damn business. Secondly, spending one-on-one time with your kid is healthy. You've only got 8 years left with the boy. Does this mean what I think it means? Whatever plans or desires they have should matter more than what their kid wants. Edit. I edited out this comment because I didn't want to get banned. I don't understand why some parents out there think the kids are no longer part of the family when they turn 18. Like, does one magically stop being a parent when their child reaches adulthood? Is this just a cultural difference I'm not understanding? I grew up in America, but I'm Asian, and most of my friends growing up were also from immigrant families from random countries. If my mom had her way, all her children would live with her and our dad in one giant house together, and they'd never sideline us for each other. We're all adults now, but I know my mom would still love that because she and dad love us. Oop comments. Yikes. Maybe you should butt out. This doesn't sound like a big deal at all. I'll admit I should have kept my opinions to myself. I probably call her and apologize. That comment was hurtful though. You might want to ask her why she feels that way instead of making it about you and your hurt feelings. It could be the opportunity to heal something from the past that was hurt between you. I mean, I don't get it. We didn't neglect her. We always had family dinner. I used to take her to the movies myself. We always listened to her. However, our marriage came first. We would always go on a couples trip irrespective if we did or didn't have family trip done before. We always presented a united front. We always greeted each other first before anyone else in the house. When we came back for work, we always sat next to each other, no exception after kids turned 5. We never disagreed with each other openly when either of us made a mistake with the kids. I think you're the one that doesn't get it. Parents can have one-on-one time with their kid. A parent can look forward to having alone time at the house. None of that has anything to do with not putting their marriage first. But how can your kids be just as important as your spouse? If you have to ask that question, I may see your daughter's point. Your wife and your 10-year-old daughter are drowning. You can only save one. Who do you save? We both made a deal we would save the kids in a life or death situation. However, if both came to me about doing activities, I would choose my wife 9/10 times. The update comments. It sucks that you can't manage more than one relationship at a time. Your wife was an adult. Your kids were kids. Your wife can understand and will be there when the kids go to bed. You will have more opportunity to spend time with your wife than you ever will with your kids. Not being able to give them 5 minutes is awfully sad. I snuggle with my kids, put them to bed, snuggle with my husband. This is not rocket science. We also did that. My daughter wanted the same level of attention and love we give to each other. Why? We do. Kids need to feel like they're equally important. Seems like you neglected your kids over their entire childhoods. This is the time to reflect on your past mistakes and be better for your grandchildren. Actions have consequences. You are just being told what these consequences are. They themselves admit they weren't neglected. My daughter is upset she came second to my wife and I. It sucks when your parents don't get it and try to push their unhealthy BS on your family dynamic. It sucks when your parents don't understand why you want a happier childhood for your kids. Only can take 2 vacations a year. The horror. Oop is a chode. Oop is definitely best friends with that other BORU couple that took 6 weeks off every half year to holiday as a couple and left their son behind. You've only got 8 years left with the boy, shows that he only ever saw his own child as an obligation for 18 years and that was all. What a sad statement. I arrived at my parents' house at 3 a.m. after leaving a bad marriage. Told Mum I'd left him. Her reply is, "I'll make you some tea." I was 26. We have all arrived home at some stage, always welcome. So many people have children and then make sure they know that they're barely even liked. Sure, they love you out of obligation, but they certainly don't like us. And the fact that he posted it in our marriage instead of the relationship sub is so telling. He doesn't care about his relationship with his daughter. I've had a similar experience with my dad. None of us talk to him anymore. I know it's not all men, but it's a theme among many men. The truth is, they don't love their wife more. These men usually care first about what others can provide for them. And that's how they rank wife and kids. They'd rather lose a child than the woman who takes care of them. I would have replied, "It sucks when your parents don't get it either, but you don't see them complaining." I don't understand this kind of people. Like, can't you care or even has the means to balance different types of love? Does this man even visit his ONW parents? If or when alive, how can you even put on the same balance the love of a parent and of a partner? I mean, in the worst case, you don't need to love your kids, but at least learn how to have relationships with them. Aside from the sexual ones, if this kind of thing not come naturally for you. Weird people that think kids are like pets that they need to foster for 18y and it's over lol. The husband is also internally like, dude STFU, BC he gets to chill for a week on his own. My so and I both like to alternate hanging with our kid while the other has some alone time to decompress. It isn't often but everyone benefits. My dad loved to travel for work and his company sent him to cool places like London or Prague for rather long periods, a few weeks each time. This was early in his marriage to my mom and a few years after I was born. He told me that one day he came home from a trip and I didn't recognize him. That I went to my mom to tell her that there was a mister at the door. He talked to his company for shorter trips, which also meant less interesting destinations. But he did it for me.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.